Hi everybody, Monday morning, colour still undetermined, but it looks pretty blue to me so far. I see and hear that most everyone else are talking about Lady C's last two videos. Now, do I really have to address this on a Monday? I guess so, it's the job. The self-appointed one, so I should not sigh. But seriously, I cannot help but despair sometimes. You know, I tested my theory once, and it works. What you do is you put something out into the public, a rumor, a story, a piece of fiction or fantasy, whatever crazy piece of shite you can think of. And although you make it clear that it may be fiction, or it may be fantasy, or pure gossip, by the time it gets to the third or fourth person, it has become fact. Also, it depends on who says what, doesn't it? And the third thing, which is scratching my behind, is the fact that we wander this earth as users of oxygen and other resources, and very little else, it seems. Because if you're not born into the history books, you are as forgettable as yesterday's news, if not more. So having said all of that, let's get into Lady C's video. Everyone, or videos, everyone is so bonkers about. Firstly, to P. Dinah and others, the very first person to ever publicly talk about Meghan's wobbly bump, the first person to publicly point out that something was not right, was a little old lady who called herself Yankee Wally. I often listen to others saying, I was the first, no, I was the first. And back here I go, oh, shut the F up. Yankee Wally said that before you even had a channel. And let's not forget, Murky Meg, Cult Views, who used to be Cult News then, and also Ashley from Danger Zone. What a pleasant, resilient voice. And Pauline, Just Living. And then came I, old Bookworm, followed by Paula M, and then the rest. Today, YouTube is no longer the voice of the public, but has mostly been infiltrated by mainstream media and refugees from mainstream media like Dan Wootton and Tom Sykes and Megyn Kelly and Neil Sean and many, many others. It is a who was first contest, or read my book, or also watch me on Fox News or GB News or BBC Channel, etc., etc., all from professional studios, and absolutely forgotten are the ones like Yankee Wally and Danger Zone, and I will even include myself and Murky and Pauline in this equation, who actually laid the foundation, did the legwork, paid hundreds of dollars for paperwork and newspaper subscriptions and new laptops and microphones in order to talk to you from our bedrooms and dining room tables, and definitely from our hearts. But I'm at a point where I go, let them have it. Let them have this BS. I'm first with this and I'm first with that. Because talk is cheap anyway. And talking for the past 8 years has not changed anything anyway. So, after spilling all this bile and sadness, rest in peace, Wally and Ashley. At least I'll remember you for as long as I am still here. Okay, back to Lady C's video. So Lady C received an email from someone who, in all seriousness, told her that Lili was born in Colorado. And now that she had mentioned it, it is explosive and it has become fact, and tomorrow the whole shitstorm is going to blow up in Harry and Meghan's faces. Well, number one, no, it is not. Not unless the British public is going to put pressure on Bonnie Prince King Charlie to bloody come out with the truth. And here is why. Okay? Well, over 6 years ago, I would say nearly 7 years ago, I did a video about Archie's birth. And I dressed it up as a fantasy, a fairy tale. And a couple of months later, I followed it up with yet another video titled, Who is Archie? At which point, I received a legal letter demanding that I divulge who the person was who gave me the information, as they, I guess, I don't know it for a fact, I guess, suspected that it came from medical personnel working at the Portland. Well, the fact that Yankee Wally accidentally put some information which was not for public consumption in one of her videos was then indeed the reason why my channel grew from about 120 subscribers to over 10,000 overnight. But the downside was that particular lawyer's letter. And my channel at the time was not monetized yet. I wasn't working because I had a stroke just months before. Ooh, it was stressful. A South African lawyer advised me to just ignore the letter because nothing would likely come off it, as the actual process to legally force me to give such information would require a warrant, a court procedure, which could take years, never mind months. I mean, local legal correspondents would have to be appointed, blah, blah, blah. It just would not have been worth their time, effort, and cost. However, a British barrister who heard about the nonsense also advised me and told me not to ignore it, but she basically dictated a letter for me stating, in broad terms, that I could basically not remember which one of my then 10,000 plus subscribers sent me the information, but they are welcome to obtain a warrant to subpoena my service provider for my digital history. Well, the South African lawyer was right. At the time, I was using Vodacom, and they were not going to risk going to court with myself or Vodacom in a process which would likely be costly, run on Africa time, and likely not succeed anyway. So after that, it was crickets. Silence, not a word. Now, the only reason why I'm even repeating this and telling you this again is because since then, I continued to run whatever information I received, particularly with regards to the children, and which I deemed important, past one or both of these legal people. Just waiting for the day either one of them would tell me, okay, Bookie, you have enough proof that these two children were not born from the body of Meghan Markle. You can now go hand this over to the legal system and the media in Great Britain. Okay? But up until now, I have been waiting for those words in vain. because that day has not come yet. And the truth is that in her video, Lady C made it very clear, crystal clear, that she's basically not endorsing the Lili was born in Colorado narrative as gospel, nor is she endorsing it as the truth above all others. The person who sent her that email likely heard that narrative from the likes of myself and Paula M, and has now adopted it as her truth, which she brought to Lady C as her truth, her story to tell, and which I know for a fact is not this unknown person's story to tell. There are only a very small number of people who can tell the truth, and those definitely does not include the author of that email, or Paula M, or even myself. No matter how much work and effort we have put in to find the truth. Not too long ago, I published a list of videos I made about the birth of Archie and Lili. You know, I did it just to make it easier for our mainstream refugees to actually find the information. Shame, man. They don't have the time to go through 1,300 videos, okay? Anyway, since publishing the list in my community posts, I've made a few more videos about the same topic. And since publishing those videos, I have received and saw even more information with regards to the children and their origins, and still, my dears, still, my barrister friend says, bring me the paperwork or a witness who will give a signed legal statement. And when you do that, I will take this all the way for you, for us, for the people of Britain. So, my dear friends, after nearly 8 years, neither myself or Paula M or anybody, P. Dina, Dan Wooten, Piers Morgan, Lady C, and so forth, have been able to produce that necessary paperwork or a real, honest, serious witness who is prepared to give a written statement or a signed affidavit which will hold up in a court. And I'm sorry for all of those who are now seriously jumping on the bandwagon, telling the world Lady C has now basically corroborated and validated the story that Lili was born in Colorado. She has not. Go listen to her video again. She did not. And to say that she endorsed the theory is unfair and unsafe to Lady C and not true. I can, however, tell you about Lili's birth certificate, and I can 100% prove to you that what we have seen, even what people like Paula and myself have paid for numerous times, twice in my case, and received from the county health department or local registrar and from the California Department of Public Health, is illegal and false as if. I honestly can't remember where I got mine from, because those were in the early days. But I think I solved at least one mystery over the last couple of weeks. Paula M and I were talking on the phone one day, and I remember it very well because I had just returned from Canada. And we were talking about how much we have to pay for copies of these birth certificates. And I mentioned that the first time I paid $19. And then the next time I was expected to pay $50. And she said, well, she paid $50. At the time it was a mystery, but now I realized it was likely because I requested the first copy from the county and the second one from the state. That is what I suspect. I don't bloody know because the laptop I worked on then is no more. It does not exist. It blew up in my face. Now, I downloaded and screenshot, everything I received, and I deleted the email. However, the point is that the first time I requested a copy and paid, I received nothing. A message that it does not exist or it's not available or whatever. The second time, I paid more than double and received a standard electronic reply, something like not captured in the system. Okay? Now, I spoke to Paula and another lady about it, and this other lady told me that California, meaning the state, that their records are backed up so badly that people have waited 6 months or more for their children's official state-issued birth certificates. Anyway, I was by then mightily ticked off because I did not get what I asked for, nor did I receive a refund. You just don't, okay? Anyway, one of my subscribers, however, did her due diligence and helped me out by paying and requesting a copy of Lili's birth certificate a few months after my second request, okay? And guess what? She received exactly what you and I saw published by TMZ. I think it was TMZ. Anyway, now, if I block out all the names and dates, okay, and I ask AI whether this is a California birth certificate, it tells me no. Okay, no, and again no. When I go and I ask an American lawyer, he tells me no. It's not right. It's not a Californian birth certificate. If I ask a Californian parent, which I did, they also told me no. So why the F did the county or the state, I don't exactly know which, because I did not think to ask the subscriber at the time whether it was the county or the state, which one it was, but why did they send her this proven BS copy? I'm going to leave that up in the air for you. So here are the things which renders Lily's birth certificate a load of BS, and then you or whoever else can use this information to go do your own investigation. Number one, there are 2 registration numbers on the American birth certificate. There's only one state which do not comply to this. Now, I can't remember which one right now, but it doesn't matter because it's neither California nor Colorado. So, for purposes of this video, it makes no difference. Okay, so the number on the left is the local registration number issued by the county health department. The local registration number for this exercise is, however, not worth much because it varies from county to county. Some will have alphabetical prefixes followed by numerical values, some will not. Some will represent district codes or internal county designations, and the rest will just represent the sequential order in which the local office recorded the birth in a given filing period or calendar year. And I can tell you this from experience, and I'm willing to bet you won't find an official proficient enough in English to understand what you want to know should you even try and inquire as to what method they used in 2021. And it's not because they cannot speak English. I will just leave that there as well. Number 3, the state registration number is the number on the right and is the one issued by the California Department of Public Health. This is a child, or eventually a person's, unique official legal identification number. End of story. Number 4, this state designated number does not contain letters and uses numeric codes, i.e. 104 for California. Number 5, this is also broken up as follows. The first 3 digits represent the state where the birth was registered. Under the standard U.S. coding system, 104 is the dedicated birth area code for California. End of. The next 2 letters represent the 2-digit year the birth was registered. So, if Lili was born in California, we would have had 10421, at least so far. The last 6 digits are a unique sequence number assigned chronologically as the state processes each birth record during that calendar year, i.e. 000001 would be the first birth registered in California in whatever year, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, whatever. While, say, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 may be registered later in the year. So, the state number on the birth certificate cannot apply to Lili. Number 1, because 105 is not California, but the state of Colorado. Number 2, the state number, right up to this very day, consists of 11 digits, not 13, and the year is represented by 2 numbers, not 4. Thus, 21 and not 2021. And please, my dears, I checked this physically at 11 a.m. my time, so no, but it might have changed. No, it hasn't. I also checked Colorado. Now, it may be coincidence, but it works exactly the same as California. 105 for Colorado, 2-digit year, 6-digit sequential filing number. So the state number on Lili's certificate is incorrect no matter how we argue or about what we are arguing. Even if the state number was correct, even if the state number was given as 104, it still has 2 digits too many. Now, does that mean Lili was born in Colorado? Is it proof that Lili was born in Colorado? No and no, because the entire number is bogus. 13 digits instead of 11, 4 digits for the year instead of 2. It is bogus. It is nonsense. As a matter of fact, the entire certificate is rubbish, and I had a huge fight about Lili's birth certificate earlier today. And why? Because I'm beyond sick of bloody excuses for them just because they are the Duke ass and Dutch ass of Sussex. You do not send me the legal requirements pull the certificate with names blocked out apart and tell me it's all kinds of wrong, but when I send the same thing with the names visible, then you have 101 stories and excuses. One of them being that the official who entered the data into the system entered what she was given. I'm not even going to go into the rest. It's a waste of breath. I got so mad that I asked whether they have a bunch of morons working there. I even got them to admit or agree that titles and styling is actually static and not a birth name. But when I showed Lili's birth certificate, there was a sudden turnaround with, "Oh, but Prince Harry was known at the time of Lily's birth as the Duke of Sussex. He was identified as the Duke of Sussex." So, okay, guys, those of you who can still have babies, when next you register yours, see whether they will allow you to register your child giving your husband's first name as engineer or pilot or mechanic and give his surname as Mr. See whether they will accept that. According to the county, they won't. But they did go ahead then and accept Lily's father as being Duke of Sussex, His Royal Highness. Now, I sincerely apologize for losing my temper, but the idea is absolutely moronic. Now, would you like to know how they tried to explain the 105 for California? Oh, it's a mistake because California and Colorado are alphabetically neighbors. It happens. Oh, I said, so the numerical values are actually typed in, okay? Because if it was a mistake, then it was a human error. It was typed in and it's not digitally generated, I asked. Oh, no, they are fully digitalized and has been since 2001. I rest my case. Anyway, guys, I need to let my heart rest. I have been up in arms all day today. Not only was I sad that all my and Yankee and Ashley and Pauline's hard work is being dismissed by those refugees from mainstream media and other big shots promoted due to their links to celebrities and so on. But we had issues with a blocked drain all weekend, and despite all our own efforts, had to get people out today because we do not have rods long enough, etc. So 2 men came out. They tried the one manhole just for the you-know-what to pop out a few meters further. And as they started digging, I told them, but look, listen, there's a manhole just a meter further. But they completely ignored me as if I did not exist and continued digging in our courtyard until they got to a manhole which we did not even know was there because it had been covered in dirt and grass, well, definitely before we moved in, and we never even suspected that there would be one because there was a manhole 2 meters back and another one 1.52 meters ahead. So who would suspect there being another one between two who are already so close to one another? Anyway, they ignored me completely and they opened the blockage there. They threw the manhole cover back, not even properly. They left the entire courtyard under shit and dug up mud and left. And then after all that, to come across someone who thinks you are so stupid that they can bullshit you, change their tune mid-sentence just because they discovered you're actually talking about old Harry, a bloody British prince who should not even be using his title in the United States at all. Oh boy, I just lost it. But anyway, I know the likes of Lady C and Lauren and Dan and Neil don't give a fig what I say or do. That's absolutely fine by me. I care about the truth and about two little children who are currently in limbo, being used as pawns in a dangerous game. And I care about the flippin' traitorous elite like Bonnie King Charlie, who are taking from and bullshitting the public and laughing at all of us because they think we don't stand a chance against them. Well, we do. David slayed Goliath. So watch out. The truth may just come out in the way and place you least expect it to come from. Okay, guys, I will continue this tomorrow. There's still a lot to be said and done, but enough is enough. I'll see you tomorrow if all goes well. So please take care and stay safe. Bye.